Hello, we're still in lockdown here in Sydney and I have a feeling that we're going to be here just a little bit longer. So the longer we're in lockdown, the longer I'm going to keep making home baked goods for you. So this week I made Nenish Tarts and the recipe will be in the comments field down below. I did use the brown sugared shortbread pie crust that I use for my lemon meringue pies. So if you made those or you attempted those, it's the exact same thing. But this time I used little muffin pans, like all the cupcake pans. A little hot tip, these are really sweet, okay? So if you love sweet things, these would be a great size for you. But if you're wanting to make these for the kids or just in general, you don't have an overly big sweet tooth, maybe get the mini muffin pans. That would be ideal because it'd be the perfect size. Fun fact, I used to hate these as a kid, and as an adult they grew on me, but I actually only will buy a Nenish Tart from one place in Sydney, and it's a place in the eastern suburbs. It's South Point Shopping Village. If you know the eastern suburbs at all, you'll know what I'm talking about. And it's just a tiny little coffee shop next to the big fruit shop in there, and they make the most perfect mini Nenish Tarts. They're amazing. So if you're ever in South Point, make sure you go grab a coffee and a Nenish Tart from there if you do like them. So these are actually, like as I said, quite sweet. And if you don't know what's in a Nenish Tart, it's basically the pie base, a layer of jam, and I use strawberry jam, I don't do raspberry, and it's a layer of milk cream and icing. And it's very sweet. But as you can see, oh, so sweet. But as you can see, you've got the layer of jam, the milk cream and the icing, which is really thin, and I think that's really important. What I don't like is when the icing's really thick on Nenish Tarts, and like I said, that place in South Point, perfection. The icing actually cracks, it's beautiful. Another little hot tip when you're making the milk cream, beat it, and beat it for about 15 minutes and continue beating until it gets really light. The thing is, if you only do it for like 5 minutes, you'll notice it's really yellow. It kind of looks like a buttercream. If you keep beating, I promise you it'll look much more whiter and resemble more of a cream, which is what you're trying to achieve. If you make these at home, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you'd like me to make next. I already have a couple of things lined up, but I would be happy to take any suggestions. I hope you're safe and well wherever you are, and happy baking. Okay, so we're gonna start off by making the crust of the mini pies. You're gonna need some butter and some brown sugar, some flour, some vanilla bean paste or vanilla essence, as well as rock salt. You're gonna start off by wanting to cream the butter and the sugar. Make sure that when you're creaming the butter and the sugar that you stop your blender and scrape down the sides to make sure it all comes together, and add your vanilla and then your salt. Once you're done, you can start adding in your flour. Do this bit by bit. Don't add your flour all in at once because it'll literally smoke out your kitchen. And what I mean by that is that the flour will just go everywhere. Once it starts to come together to form a crumbly type of mixture, when you get it to that consistency, pop it out onto your bench and roll the dough into a ball. Wrap it in some cling wrap, and then you're gonna stick it in the fridge for about 30 minutes to set. In the meantime, while you've done this, get your oven ready and set that to about 180 degrees Celsius. Pastry is setting in the fridge, grab your cupcake pan and some melted butter and brush around the bases and the edges. This will make sure that your little cases will pop out perfectly after baking. Don't forget to measure out your pastry cases. You can use circle cutters or egg rings or whatever you have in the house. It does need to be slightly larger so it will fit up the sides. When you roll out your dough, make sure you put some flour underneath, otherwise the dough will stick. If you do find it still sticks, just run a knife ever so gently underneath and it'll pop up. Drop into your cupcake tin and gently mold in, and use a fork and prick the base. These are almost ready to pop in the oven. You want to pop them in for 180 degrees for 12 minutes. And while these are baking, we're going to prepare our mock cream. There's a few ways we can do this, but I will be using this particular method. I am putting 2 teaspoons of gelatin powder into super cold water. I've got 250 grams of unsalted butter, about 80 grams of custard sugar, and I'm going to cream that together. The trick to getting a perfectly creamy white mock cream is to keep beating it. I've just added some vanilla in here, about a teaspoon. Don't forget to scrape down the sides. Now this process will take a good 15-20 minutes, even longer, but you just have to have faith in the process. With the gelatin, what you want to do is stir it around, and you want to heat it over some hot water, excuse my voice, some hot water to ensure that it fully dissolves. I've got some boiling hot water here, and I'm just going to stick my cup in, and actually I had too much water, poured it out, and then I'm just whisking it here while the butter and sugar mixture is creaming. Once you're ready, start adding in your gelatin mixture slowly. And then what you'll do once you pop that in, you'll add your cream of tartar, which I have just over half a teaspoon. I just love saying cream of tartar, it sounds fancy. And look at that beautiful creamy white consistency. Like I said, have faith and keep beating. So here are the baked crusts. I'm using Rose's strawberry jam. I love strawberry jam. I don't do raspberry, but it's up to you what you do. Then you pop your mock cream on top and make sure that you flatten the surface because you are putting icing on top of this. So you want that to be nice and smooth. Okay, now we're preparing the icing. I've got a cup and a half of icing sugar, and I have some melted butter and some hot milk. Just blend this together and it is going to be super thick. What you want to do is you want to divide this into 2 bowls and then you want to color it. Now you can use any food coloring. I just have my AmeriColour gels for my cake decorating. So I've used a soft pink here. And as I was blending, it definitely didn't go the pink that I wanted. I wasn't that impressed with it, but it still turned out okay. For the chocolate, I am using Pana hot chocolate. Side note, this is the best hot chocolate in the world. So if you see it in Woolworths or Coles, grab it. Anyway, back to the Nenish Tarts. What you want to do is you want to spread the pink on first and then the chocolate. As you can see here, it's too thick. So my suggestion is pop it in the microwave, and now you can see the perfect consistency. It is shiny and it will drip on, and you'll be able to manipulate it much better. Don't worry if the pink side is a little bit off because you'll be going over it with the chocolate and you can even that out. And now it's time to pop on the chocolate. It's, as I said, it's super shiny. If it does start to thicken up, which it will do quite quickly, just pop it in the microwave for no more than 10 seconds, mix it around, and you'll have that beautiful runny consistency, almost like a royal icing if you've ever made cookies before. And there's a finished product. It's a great Sunday afternoon treat, or any day treat really. If you give these a crack, let me know and tell me in the comments how it went. Happy baking!